Hi everyone, it's Vishaka here. It's been a while since I posted anything in the Seeking the Essence introductory series, and I realize one important topic I haven't covered yet is the subject of Guru, our spiritual teacher, the divine guide. And this is something very crucial. It's something very crucial, but it isn't always necessarily the first thing that seekers feel the need for, you know. It sometimes requires a more developed understanding and a more developed and refined sense of necessity. Because at one stage we can feel like, oh, God is everywhere. You know, why do I need to go to some intermediary? Why do I have to go to someone who's just going to like block this transaction? You know, I have this feeling in my heart. Surely my approach to divinity towards the plane of spirit should be something automatic, instinctive, and natural. You know, why should I try and why should I get somebody in the middle of what will be an automatic exchange? So this is one idea that persons can have. And you see, on one level, that's actually totally true, you know, because the pure soul is automatically attracted towards spirit, towards the plane of spirit. But the problem at present is that we are covered by layers of misunderstanding, misconception. We're covered by layers of the material energy, the mental. There's the plane of pure spirit, pure soul, but then there's also the plane of the mental system. There's the plane of the intellect. There's the physical plane on the more gross level. And then on the most subtle plane, there's the false ego, the ahankar, which causes us to identify with so many ideologies, designations, identifications of this worldly plane, that we are male, female, rich, poor, etc., etc. This is the ahankar, which causes this this subtle sense of identification with temporary manifestations of this world. So this is the thing. Our heart has its own call. The soul has its own call, its own cry, its own attraction to a particular plane of purity. But then it's obscured by all this interference coming from these other layers. So we can't always rely upon our own sense. There's some value there, but we got to check in with other sources. So this is where the importance of a guru, a spiritual guide, comes into play. And another point that is important about the guru is that it's a way of entering into the family of the Lord. Rather than having like a remote, distant relationship, it's a way of connecting with God in an intimate way. You're entering his family. You're not, it's like, for example, if we wanted to meet the Queen of England, we could send her a letter directly, and we may get a response from her eventually. But what is that relationship? It's the queen and her subjects. There's a lot of formality, there's distance there. It's a remote, hazy relationship. But if we approach, like, let's say we have a connection, like a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, or a relative of a relative, or someone who works for her, someone who's part of her entourage already, if we enter through that angle, then we, like in one day, in one instant, we can go from being nobody, and total unknown, to being someone who's like up close and personal. So this is another point about Guru, because Guru is someone who already has a close connection with God, with Krishna, with the Lord. So it's like if that trusted person says, hey, this person is cool, then we're automatically going to be accepted on the basis of that recommendation. So that's another important point about Guru. And it's also a deeper demonstration of love. It's like our Gurudev liked this expression, love me, love my dog. To say you love me, that's one level of love. But if you say, I love you so much that I love everyone who's connected with you, everyone who's remotely a part of your life, that's a deeper kind of love. It's like if two people want to get married, you have to be prepared to become a part of their life, like in a holistic way, not in an isolated way, like it's just about me and you, but successful relationships, they generally involve being a part of like the sum total of that person's life in every area. So you're marrying somebody means you're going to be a part of their family. You're going to be a part of the family, the circle of friends. You're going to be a part of the circle of co-workers also, possibly. So it's like entering into this deeper, and like connecting with the Lord through Guru is a way of connecting with the Lord in a deeper, a more profound, and more of an intimate way. And before I finish off, I did want to read a few excerpts. This is the book on Guru. Sorry, the words are going to be reversed there. But there's a few. This is by my grandfather Guru, Srila Sridhar Dev Goswami. And wonderful book. Everything you need to know about Guru is covered here. And there are a few points in particular. I just quickly, I wanted to read a few quotes here. We are living in an environment which is afflicted with serious misconception, misunderstanding, misguidance, and misbehavior. How are we to ascertain what is good and what is bad, what we should aspire after and what we should reject? Innumerable alternatives have thronged in a crowd coming to influence us. And when this area, covered by illusion and influenced by misunderstanding, is filled with such diversity, how can we hope to know the infinite spiritual worlds of Vaikuntha? We must accept any way and any alliance that will help us gain entrance into that realm. We should try to have even the slightest connection with that perfect goal of our innate aspiration. We are helpless. We are hopeless in the midst of disappointment. We are in extreme danger. We rely on our free will, our capacity of selection for our own good, but it is too minute and helpless to guide us. What danger we are in, all around us are witnesses to this danger. How important is a real guru who can guide us to our real welfare. We are in the midst of different forces that are drawing us, attracting us towards different directions. So proper guidance is the most valuable and the most important thing for all of us. If we accept direction from anywhere and everywhere, we will be misguided. Therefore, we must be careful to get proper direction. And lastly, I'll just read this wonderful quote on the back. To err is human. To err is inevitable for all imperfect beings. Still, no one wants to remain imperfect. There is an element within all that is animate, that tends towards perfection. If it were not so, we would feel no want at all. Our tendency towards perfection is certainly very weak and limited. Otherwise, we could attain the goal at once. Our limited capacity and tendency for perfection makes room for the guide or guru. The imperfect is not so if it is not in need of help, and that also from beyond itself. The perfect is not perfect if he cannot assert himself or help others, and that too of his own accord. So the guidance to perfection, or absolute truth, is necessarily a function of the Absolute himself, and the divine agent through whom this function manifests is Sri Guru, or the divine guide. So where the imperfect meets with the perfect, this is where Guru comes into play. That's all for now. I hope you're all doing very well. My respects and best wishes to all. Jai Shri Gurudev.